The first and most obvious thing that I'm going to say is that money is important. In fact, it's very, very important. But the thing that most people forget is it's not just how much money you make. It is the speed in which you make it and also how you make that money. You see, what I mentioned with speed is very, very important. If you make money too quickly, and a lot of money in that case, it will ruin your life. It will absolutely ruin your life because you have no grounding. You have no roots to actually keep you from going off the rails. And you see this all the time. You see people who become very successful very, very quickly and they don't have that grounding. Now, bear in mind, sometimes you'll see these overnight success, but these people have been working for the past 10, 15, 20 years on their craft, and then eventually they became an overnight success. But that's okay because they have that grounding of all the work and all the time and all the effort they put in. So they know who they are. They can look themselves in the mirror and know who they are with or without the success. So please never ever dream that you can inherit the money or win the lottery, because as I said, it will ruin your life, because you will have resources and you will have money that does not match with your identity and the resilience of your character. As the saying goes, with great power comes great responsibility, and you need to be willing and you need to be ready for said responsibility. So please never ever wish for extreme riches. And by the way, when I say extreme riches, I mean if you're making $0 right now and in a year you make 20,000, 30,000, maybe even 40, $50,000 a month, that's okay. I'm saying if you go from your position right now to making, millions a year, that will really, really ruin your life, especially if you don't have those roots and all of those years of working hard to really build up your character. So that way, without all of your externals, you know who you are as a person. Living in Dubai, I see a lot of examples of this, especially a lot of the crypto guys out here. And by the way, this is nothing against them whatsoever. Obviously, life has just forced a very interesting situation on them. But as I said, I have witnessed with my own two eyes how it ruins people. These people can never ever work hard again because they ended up making a lot of money with crypto. And bear in mind, in 2021, I made a lot of money with crypto, but at least I had, 6 years of business background and I was still making millions a year with my business. But I also knew, hey, a large part of this is luck. I didn't think I was some genius, super genius, anything like that. I knew that a large part of it was luck. So just remember, slow money is better. You will feel far more fulfilled and you will embody the traits that you want to embody far more when you make your money slowly. So now if you want to make money and actually enjoy it, you know that the slower you make your money, the more fulfilling it will be when it comes. And by the way, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to make money as fast as you can, because for 99.9% of you, it will take far longer than you initially imagine it will to hit your financial goals. So now that we've addressed the speed in which you make your money, which most people never consider, now we also need to think about how much. Now, I can tell you honestly that I have felt my absolute richest when I was making between $10,000 to $15,000 a month. That was the quality of life where I felt the absolute most abundant. Now, bear in mind, I was 17 years old when I was making that amount of money. In modern day times and, with inflation and everything that's happened, especially over the space of the last 2 years, I would say if you can get to $20,000, $25,000 a month, you will have freedom. And that is the most important thing in life. Now, once you get to around $1 million a year or so, that is really where you can start to afford more luxuries and, you can afford more nice things in your life. But also because you can afford more nice things, when you do have the nice things, kind of wears off, like even just nice dinners and stuff like that, it doesn't have as much meaning because you could technically do it whenever you want. A $5,000 holiday, if you're making $1 million a year, you can go on, 5 or 6 of those a year very, very comfortably. So it just doesn't have as much meaning. But I will say, getting to $1 million a year plus, you'll feel a lot more rich between that sort of $10,000 to $20,000 a month mark. But definitely getting to $1 million a year, it is a better quality of life. Now, the stage that I'm at, where I'm making most months $1 million, and that's in take-home after-tax profits, obviously living in Dubai, I can tell you that that is just excessive and unnecessary, honestly. So really, anything past $2 million a year onwards, for me, that's the situation where I want to start warning you guys. I really want to start warning you and just saying, be careful what you wish for, because it comes with a lot of extra headache that may not actually improve your quality of life. As I said, once you get past, honestly, I'd say anywhere from $1 million to $2 million a year, your actual quality of life doesn't really increase that much more, but you get a lot more headaches that come with it. And this rolls into the third thing that you need to analyze when you're thinking about, how much money you want to make. Let's say you're thinking, okay, what's the difference between making $500,000 a year and $7 million a year? It's like, of course, on paper, $7 million a year is better. Who would not want $7 million a year over $500,000 a year? But you have to ask yourself, at what cost am I making the $7 million compared to the $500,000? Listen, it is incredibly important to learn. Learn as much as you can, but it's far more important to apply that information. I want you to view my videos as an interesting viewpoint, an interesting perspective from someone who has walked the path very publicly. I've been documenting everything for 8 years now on YouTube that has walked the path that you want to walk. But none of it will have any effect whatsoever unless you apply it. Now, the thing is, YouTube is a very, very smart platform.
And it can be a very dangerous platform because sure, you have interesting educational, but remember, view my content as entertaining. And by the way, I want you to view most books out there in the exact same way, because most books, what it is, it's 15 pages of gold and then 300 pages of fluff, because they can't sell you a 15-page book and people will pay $12 for that, even though it's really only 15 pages that are valuable. Really, the only thing that I would consider proper learning is when you know exactly what you need to do and you're educating yourself on how to do it. Let's say there's an aspect of your online business or your online career that you know you need to work on in order to get ahead. Well, then immersing yourself in that specific topic, that's education. Just watching a podcast or reading a book because you think that it might be useful to you, that is very dangerous, and you need to look at that as entertainment and not education. $10,000 a month is the easy part. Continuing to make $10,000 a month, that's where it gets difficult, and also keeping that money and then multiplying it, growing your wealth over time. And rather than acting like some new money idiots, learn from old money. Even in my situation, even though I am new money, I knew from day one that I would make it, but I always promised myself that I would study old money to understand how to actually keep it and multiply my wealth. So the third component of making $10,000 a month is understanding that once you get there, you're not done. That is actually simply just the beginning. Now it is time to cement your place, have that as a baseline. And the crazy thing is we all have financial baselines. You know, for me, I remember when my baseline was $1,000 a month. And this is around 6 years ago. I was still in school at this point. And that doesn't mean what you're trying to make, what you're aiming to make. It just means if you go below that point, it will keep you up. You're like, this, it doesn't match your identity. You're like, this isn't me. And I remember when I went from $1,000 and then went to $5,000 and then went to $10,000. And listen, since then I've been very blessed to have an amazing career, and it's gone up to $100,000 a month and now $1 million a month. And you know, God willing, at some point it'll be a few $1 million a month, and that'll be my absolute baseline. I can't even conceive a reality where it's less than that. So the point I'm trying to make is, once you get to 10K a month, it's more than about making it an identity. It's more than about making that as your baseline. As I said, your financial identity is not where you're aiming for. It's where anything below that, and you would just feel off. You would be like, this isn't me. I'm better than this. So number one is get to 10K a month. And once you get there, make it your financial identity. And once that is solid and that's locked in, then you can keep working your way up the ranks. Then here's the real secret I'm gonna tell you. You take 50 to 70% of everything you make in that business and you invest it. That is the truest form of passive income. And this is the 10 million or even $100 million roadmap. Cash flow business that funnels into your investment portfolio. Cash flow, investment portfolio. Cash flow, investment portfolio. And just like a snowball rolling down the hill, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and the velocity gets quicker and quicker and quicker. I'm sure you guys have all seen that graph of Warren Buffett's net worth just compounding year on year on year, and how towards the end, it starts to go parabolic. So ladies and gentlemen, stop wasting time. Time is ticking. There is no such thing as passive income in the way that we've been sold the lie. Go out there, start the right business, and start getting rich quicker. You see, the issue is in modern society, everyone is in such a rush to become a millionaire. And the reason they're in such a rush is because of the things that they think it will give them. And by the way, I'm specifically speaking to the teenagers and the students here. You've got kids who are 16 who are in such a rush to become a millionaire, because I know exactly what they're thinking. They're thinking, hey, once I'm a millionaire, I'm gonna get all the girls, or people are gonna be impressed, and I'm gonna be able to buy these things. And I'm gonna talk to you very frankly as someone who made their first $1 million in cash in the bank at the age of 18. I'm going to tell you this right here, right now. When you make money at an early age, and I'm not talking early like 25 or 27, 28, because that's still earlier, or maybe even 23 or 24. I'm talking early as in 18, 21. No one is impressed. They just think you are a lucky kid. I can tell you this because I experienced this. Very few people thought he was a genius. They're like, oh, he got lucky at an early age and he's probably gonna lose all of it. Because honestly, that's what happens 98% of the time. So that's number one. And number two, girls don't want you at that age. Either you have someone like your high school sweetheart who loves you no matter what. So it doesn't matter if you make your first million at 18 or at 28, this girl's in it for the long run. Or if you're trying to pick up new girls, they're more concerned with like the 28-year-olds, the 30-year-olds, the sort of girls that you think money is gonna attract. They don't want a guy who's 18 or 21. So the reason I make that clear is because everyone who's 16, 18, 20 is in such a rush. You know, let me make my first million, let me make my first million. And it's so stupid because they would rather make their first million in something that is pretty much just luck. Let me give you an example. They would rather make their first million at 18 or 19 or 20 by some lucky crypto pick. You know, they put $1,000 into one shitcoin and then it turned into $1 million. Let me tell you something, that will ruin your life forever. Because first of all, making a good amount of money at a young age is already a massive challenge. What's even worse is if you got lucky. And let's call it what it is. That is luck. And by the way, I've made a crap ton of money with crypto, but I never thought that was me being a genius. I just knew, hey, there's a small part of my investment portfolio, and cool. In 2 years, I made almost $10 million from crypto, but that wasn't my career. And let me tell you something, if that was my career, I would be very depressed right now, considering everything that's going on in the crypto markets, and if I didn't get out at the right time and all of this stuff. But for me, I was always very chill about it because I planted my seeds. I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years. I have all of these businesses. So I know that I'm going on a little bit of side tangent here, but that's all to say that the best time, truly, I can tell you, the best time in my opinion, to make money is from the age of 25 to 30. Now, I happen to make money a lot younger, but also bear in mind, I started my first entrepreneurial venture when I was 14. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 5 years. It took me 5 years to make my first million. Remember what I told you earlier on? I said 5 to 10 years to make your first million. What happened to me? 5 years.